Okay, let's talk about intermittent fasting. Ancient humans didn't eat 3 times a day. That's a modern day social norm. Ancient humans were in an environment where it was normal to function without food for days on end, otherwise known as fasting. And fasting has been practiced since then in many religions for spiritual reasons, and more recently by influencers on Instagram. So what is intermittent fasting? It isn't a diet, but it's an eating pattern. Let's consider the role of insulin in intermittent fasting. The only way that sugar will enter the cell as fat is in the presence of insulin. However, if we don't eat, our insulin levels will go down, which means it'll be less likely that energy is stored in our cells as fat because, like we just discussed, insulin is the transporter of fat into the cells. So, like this fancy graph demonstrates, low insulin levels equals fat loss. Because when insulin gets low enough, what actually happens is fat is able to be drawn out of the cell. Because what your body's thinking is, hang on, I've got no fuel here, my insulin's really low, I haven't eaten in a while, I'm gonna just tap into that fat. This is the time that I've stored this fat for, okay? And if we allow our insulin to go down low enough, we can burn our fat for energy. So fasting and weight loss. The most significant factor in weight loss is the reduction of calories. So when you think about it, any diet or eating pattern basically works on the principle of a reduction of calories. However, the output is also increased because improvements of metabolic rate have been reported between 3 and 14%. Fat burning hormones are also released. We also actually become more insulin sensitive, which means that it requires less insulin to stifle our blood sugar spikes, which means less insulin, less fat storage. Human growth hormone, which is an anabolic signaling process, increases up to 5 times. Cellular repair or buffering is essentially when your body's got nothing else to do, it starts fixing itself. Gene expression is therefore improved. In 2014, a review showed that eating patterns can cause a 3 to 8% weight loss over 3 to 24 weeks. And the same study showed a 4 to 7% loss of waist circumference, which is also matched with equivocal reduction in fat around your organs. So that's positive for longevity again. Let's have a look at the methods. We've spoken about what it does and how it works. So the 16-8 is probably the most popular, which is an 8-hour window, which means if I got up and I started eating at 12 p.m, I'd finish eating at 8 p.m, and then that'll be me done until 12 p.m. the next day. The Eat Stop Eat is a fasting window of 24 hours, once or twice a week, so fasting from dinner to dinner. The 5-2, so 500 to 600 calories on 2 non-consecutive days. Consider a simple form of intermittent fasting, for example, not snacking before bed and reducing even your current eating window by an hour. You don't have to go all out and stop eating for 2 days of the week, but maybe reducing your window is a good option. And the reason why I say that is because if you wake up and you have a bowl of cereal and then you go to bed and you have the same bowl of cereal, you'll probably gain more fat from the late bowl of cereal. And the reason being, you've been awake for 10 hours, digesting food, metabolizing, doing exercise. Your body essentially slows down, needs to rest. So even your digestive system will be less efficient later in the evening. Okay, the flip side. You now know about intermittent fasting and you know how it works, which means you then know that if you're just going to eat snack throughout the day, your insulin level is going to be higher and therefore you're going to store more fat. So try and stick to routine meals and avoid snacking. Your diet needs rest too. You would rest after a big leg day, so you should rest after a meal is kind of the principle I'm trying to hit at. Not for women is kind of a... No, I don't agree. It may not be as beneficial for women as men. Improved insulin sensitivity in men can be matched by worsened blood sugar control in women, and menstrual periods can actually stop during prolonged fasting. But I don't think you're going to experience any of those, even fasting for a few days. So yeah, energy balance is greater than eating pattern in terms of the reason. One of the primary reasons that this works is because you're eating less calories. So what you eat is still more important than when you eat it, because if you were to have a 10-hour window but you still binge ate more calories, you're still going to probably not lose anything, if not gain weight. So yeah, I'm not going to recommend any of these protocols, but they are there for you to experiment with. Yeah, do investigate your own eating window, because they are all unique and have their own unique benefits.